So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 20 minutes. Now, the current affairs that we are going to be covering today are September 5, 2024's current affairs. So, all the important news items that featured in September 5, 2024's newspapers will be covered in this particular lecture. Now, let me remind you beforehand that only those news items which are important for civil services examination are going to be featuring in this lecture. Okay, we will ignore all the other news items that are not important from the perspective of civil services examination. All right, only those news items which are important from civil services perspective will be covered. All right, now September 5, 2024's newspaper covered 4 news items that are of extreme importance for us civil services aspirants. And here are those news items. So let's take a look at the topics of the day. Today's topics. Now, today's topics are number 1, satellite-based toll collection. An announcement was made by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways that we are going to be experimenting with satellite-based toll collection. Well, you know about fast tags, right? They have somehow made these toll booths a little easier to pass from. All right, traffic congestion has reduced, but now the government is thinking about directly collecting your toll from satellite itself. This is known as satellite-based toll collection, and this would easily reduce traffic or traffic congestion at various toll booths. Okay, so what is this technology all about? We'll talk about this. Then, Chandipura virus has been problematic, especially in Gujarat. So scientists in Gujarat have basically sequenced the DNA or genome of Chandipura virus. So genome mapping of Chandipura virus. This would help us understand the functioning of Chandipura virus in a better way because no treatment has been found for this virus. So we need to understand this virus first and then only we can come out with a treatment to kill this virus. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Then there was this announcement made recently by the government regarding green hydrogen. So we'll talk about this announcement and we'll also take a look at green hydrogen, what green hydrogen is. And in the end, we'll talk about recent report released by World Bank regarding India's economy. The report is quite optimistic. It has raised India's growth forecast for this year. So it is quite optimistic, but there are certain red flags also in this report regarding Indian economy. We'll talk about all these things. Okay. So we'll talk about all these 4 topics. So let's start with topic number 1, which is satellite-based toll collection. Now, what was the announcement made by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways? After the announcement for the implementation of global navigation satellite system-based electronic toll collection in India. So this announcement was already made by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Okay, we launch a satellite network called Global Navigation Satellite System, GNSS, and that GNSS will be used for electronic toll collection. Okay. But after this announcement, Ministry of Road Transport also made another announcement. They said that we need to first study certain tolls in India. Okay, we will basically come out with GNSS-based electronic toll collection, but there are various toll booths in India, right? We need to study each and every toll booth in India. Why? Because some toll booths are crowded and some toll booths are empty. So we need to first study them to understand where are the choke points for traffic. Okay, in which toll booths we find choke points for these traffic areas, in which toll booths we need some upgradation. All right, now to study those tolls, different tolls in India, MORTH came out with a geographic information system, GIS based software. This software will monitor these different tolls in real time. Okay, this new software has been developed by Indian Highways Management Company Limited, and this company is basically owned by National Highway Authority of India. So NHAI has a company called IHMCL. This IHMCL has developed this GIS-based software. This software will allow the government to monitor traffic on different tolls in India. Okay. Now, how will this software, GIS-based software, would work? So this GIS-based software will provide the name and location of the toll plaza, along with the live status of the queue, the line, wait times, vehicle speeds. Okay, this software will help the official to get comparative traffic conditions analysis on hourly, daily, weekly, monthly basis. Comparative analysis means how is one particular toll doing in comparison to the other toll. Okay, different tolls would be compared. Plus, this software will also provide updates regarding weather conditions and festivals, because during adverse weather conditions, traffic increases or these toll areas get crowded. During local festivals also these toll areas get crowded. So these information would also be given beforehand by this software, this information. Why? So that NHAI basically is able to plan for different traffic events. All right. Now, this is about the new GIS based software. Now, what is this electronic toll collection? GNSS based electronic toll collection. So basically, MORTH is currently working on global navigation satellite system based tolling system, which is expected to replace the current FASTag toll system. So even FASTag will be replaced. Though FASTag actually replaced the earlier toll collection system, the cash-based toll collection system, but even this will get replaced by this GNSS-based toll collection system. Now, how is GNSS-based toll collection system better? Look, this toll will be collected on the basis of the distance traveled by the user. Now, currently, if you're on a particular highway, no matter how much distance you have traveled, if you're passing through a toll booth, you'll have to pay the full toll, right? Even if you travel for 1 kilometer on that highway, but if you're passing through that toll booth, you have to pay the full toll. But that is not the case with GNSS-based system. It will decide your toll on the basis of the distance traveled by you on that particular highway, all right? And that particular amount shall be automatically debited from your account, okay? Initially, this system will be run on a hybrid mode with FASTag. So FASTag and GNSS system will operate simultaneously initially, but eventually we'll fully replace GNSS with FASTag. The benefit is very simple, seamless movement of traffic. All right? Okay. Now, first news item is done. Now let's move to second, genome mapping of Chandipura virus. Now, do you guys know what genome mapping is? Look, genome mapping is basically locating the position of various genes on a particular chromosome or on chromosomes. Basically, what genome mapping is done, or what genome mapping does is that you take a particular organism, you take its DNA. Now, which gene is performing which function, and where is it located on that DNA strand, shall be done through genome mapping. Now, currently, scientists are trying to understand the DNA of Chandipura virus. Genome mapping for the Chandipura virus is being done. This will tell us what particular gene in this virus does and where is that gene placed in that virus's DNA. Okay, so we'll get the entire information about this virus's DNA, or if that virus is not a DNA-based virus, in that virus's genes. Okay, chromosomes. So we'll get the entire information regarding the genes of this virus. Okay, and after understanding what different genes in that virus do, after understanding that, we'll be able to come out with a treatment. Because currently, there is no treatment for Chandipura virus, and it is a dangerous virus. Okay, so to get a treatment, we need complete genome sequencing of this virus, and this is what exactly Gujarat Biotechnology Research Center scientists are doing. So GBRC is in Gandhinagar, and it has published the only fully mapped genome of Chandipura Virus. This is the official name, CHPV. Chandipura Virus. Now, the viral infection that caused at least a third of encephalitis or brain swelling cases. So, what is encephalitis? Brain swelling. In Gujarat during the outbreak in July-August. So, recently in July and August, there was Chandipura outbreak that caused brain swelling, and it mostly affects children. Okay. Now, genome sequencing has been done. Now, after studying the genome sequencing or the genome mapping of this virus, maybe scientists will definitely come out with a treatment for this virus. Okay. Now, what is important for us is, what is this virus? What is this disease? Okay. So, about Chandipura Virus. Chandipura is a viral infection that led to outbreaks of acute encephalitis. Now, what is acute encephalitis syndrome? Brain swelling. And this particular disease has a high fatality rate. In some places, it is even 50%. That means 50% of the people infected with Chandipura virus die, basically. Right? Now, why is this virus called Chandipura? Because it was first located in 1965 in Chandipura, which is in Maharashtra. Okay, so it was first located in Maharashtra's Chandipura in 1965, and that is why it gets its name. Okay, it mostly affects children below the age of 15. Now, generally, these viruses need a vector to travel to you, to travel to a human body, right? So, what are these viruses? What do these viruses do? They first infect a particular mosquito, then that mosquito bites you, and then that virus enters your body. right? In that case, that mosquito becomes the vector. So for Chandipura virus, what is the vector? Sandflies and ticks, right? For dengue virus, what is the vector? Aedes mosquito. For malaria, Anopheles mosquito. These are the vectors, right? For Chandipura virus, sandflies and ticks. Now, what are the symptoms for this disease? Fever, rashes, brain swelling, liver problems, and even multi-organ failure, which eventually leads to death. And it has a high mortality rate, 50%. The current outbreak in July-August had a 45% mortality rate. So, because there is no treatment, it leads to a lot of deaths, especially of children. So, it's a dangerous thing. And that is why this genome mapping or genome sequencing would really go a long way in getting a treatment out for this disease. All right? Okay. Now, let's move on to our third news item, which is green hydrogen. So, what was in the news? Why green hydrogen was in news? So, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has exempted export-oriented green hydrogen projects from its solar module shortlist of domestic manufacturers. Now, what will that do? Look, if you are a particular industry and you are running on solar power, you need solar power. If your factory needs solar power, basically, then you will install solar modules. Now, government has made it mandatory that you will buy these solar modules from Indian manufacturers only. And government has a list of these manufacturers. Okay, so if you need solar power, if you're an industry and you need solar power, you need installation of these solar modules, then government has provided you with a list of these manufacturers, domestic manufacturers, from which you can purchase solar modules and get them installed. Now, why has government done that? Well, government has done that so that domestic manufacturing of solar modules get a boost. Otherwise, all these big companies installing solar power would import solar modules because imported solar modules are cheaper. Okay, and then no one would buy from Indian solar module manufacturers. So solar module manufacturing industry would die in India. So to promote solar module manufacturing industry in India, government has made it mandatory. Okay, so you'll have to buy solar modules from this list of solar module manufacturers. Now the thing is, government has exempted green hydrogen projects from this list, export oriented green hydrogen projects. So if you have a green hydrogen project and you use that green hydrogen for export, okay, then you need not buy these solar modules from Indian manufacturers, you can import them. And I have told this to you before, imported solar modules are cheaper. So this would greatly reduce the cost of setting up a green hydrogen project in India, right? That is why government has exempted them, so that it becomes cheaper for a particular person to install green hydrogen projects. Okay, with the ability to use imported modules which are cheaper than domestic modules, such projects can substantially reduce production costs. Now, the thing is, for manufacturing, what is green hydrogen basically? Look, you need to know this first. So, look, government is trying to boost the use of hydrogen for fuel. Okay, so we can run cars, we can run factories on hydrogen fuel. How? When you burn hydrogen, it produces energy, plus it produces water, right? Whereas in case of fossil fuels, when you burn fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, coal, well, they produce energy, no doubt. But they also produce carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other polluting gases. All right. So that is why burning fossil fuels actually is polluting in nature. That is why government wants to replace fossil fuels with hydrogen, because hydrogen is a clean fuel. It produces energy and it also produces water, which is not polluting at all. Maybe we'll use that water for other things. Make sense, right? So government is trying to replace hydrogen with fossil fuels. I'm sorry, replace fossil fuels with hydrogen. All right. Now the thing is that how do we manufacture these? How do we manufacture this hydrogen? How do we produce hydrogen? So basically, there are three ways of producing hydrogen. One is a green way, the other is known as the gray way, the other is known as the blue way. Now, under gray hydrogen, when you produce hydrogen for fuel, this process uses coal and natural gas, which is polluting in nature. So yes, you're producing hydrogen and you're using that hydrogen because it is non-polluting, but the process of making hydrogen is polluting. And that is known as gray hydrogen because it uses fossil fuels. Then there is blue hydrogen. In blue hydrogen, also you use natural gas. You use fossil fuels for producing hydrogen. But you also have a technology of capturing the released carbon dioxide. So it's non-polluting in nature. Okay? And in case of green hydrogen, you don't need fossil fuels. All you need to do is you use renewable energy, conducting electrolysis of water. So electrolysis of water is separation of hydrogen and oxygen from water. So this will give you hydrogen and oxygen. Now this process is known as electrolysis, and you need energy for electrolysis. That energy will come from solar, wind, etc. So the entire process of producing hydrogen is non-polluting, and hydrogen in itself is non-polluting. This is known as green hydrogen. So if we want to fight climate change, we need more and more green hydrogen, and that is why government has come up with this step. Okay, make sense? Understand the difference between green, gray, and blue hydrogen. It is important. It might be the question from this might be asked in your prelims examination. So make sure you understand this difference. Okay. And now let's move on to our last news item, which is World Bank's report on Indian economy. The World Bank has raised its forecast for the Indian economy in its latest update, pegging the growth at 7% this year, up from earlier 6.6%. Okay, so basically, World Bank has increased India's growth forecast. Earlier, it said that India would grow by 6.6%, but as per the new data, World Bank is saying that India will grow by 7%. So this is basically good news for India, right? That World Bank is upgrading our news forecast. And it's not just World Bank. In fact, World Economic Outlook, a report released by IMF, they also said that India will grow by 7%. Asian Development Bank says India will grow by 7%. And many other organizations are showing that India will grow about 7%. All right. So this is good news for India. All right. Now, World Bank also confirmed this news in its report. They have confirmed the projections of IMF also in their report. Now, what else did World Bank say in its report? Yes, it said that it is good news for India. And why is it good news for India? Why World Bank thinks that India's GDP will grow? Because World Bank says that private consumption will increase this year because of good monsoon. Rural areas or rural incomes would bounce back. Then these rural incomes would be used to purchase different things, because farmers, after increase in their incomes, would use that to buy certain things, and that would give a boost to other industries, right? So because private consumption is going to get a boost, India's GDP will get a boost. But that's about it. This is the only good news with India. There are two bad news, which World Bank says that if India doesn't care about these things, these two things, then India's growth might decline. Number one is that there will be a slowdown in investment growth because government investment, which is government capital expenditure, has declined. Then, World Bank also highlighted that, look, China has vacated its export space. The amount of exports that China used to do, it is no longer doing that, especially of low skill manufacturing products. China has given up that space and India has not occupied that space. India has not taken advantage of that space. Chinese exports have declined. The natural thing that should have happened would be that India's exports should have increased. But no, Chinese exports declined and India did not take advantage of that. In fact, Bangladesh and Vietnam did. Because of that, India's exports did not increase as much as India expected because of Chinese decline. All right. And because of that, jobs in export industries are not increasing. So this has led to a decline in employment as well. So India needs to take care of these things as well. All right. Now, a little more information about World Bank. So you need to know because question might be asked. So World Bank was created in 1944 along with IMF. In 1944, it was known as International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Currently, its membership is 189 countries. World Bank is one of UN's specialized agencies. And basically, World Bank is a World Bank group. World Bank is basically a group of 5 institutions. And that is why some people call it the World Bank Group. Which are those 5 institutions? Number 1 is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Number 2 is International Development Association. Number 3 is International Finance Corporation. Number 4 is Multilateral Guarantee Agency. Okay. Now, India is a member of these 4 agencies. Fifth institution is International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes. India is a member of World Bank, but India is a member of only these four things. India is not a member of ICSID. Okay, just remember this fact. All right. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you're consistent and regular with this lecture series. By the way, if you want to download the entire notes for this lecture, if you want to download the PDF file, which contains all the information regarding this lecture, well, you can download that PDF file from our Telegram channel. The link to that Telegram channel is given in the comment section below. So check that out, download that PDF file, study it, and consolidate your current affairs. Thank you, everyone.